Today's readings for today's Mass are from the prophet Micah, chapter 2, verses 1 through 5, and Psalm 10 for the responsorial psalm, and the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 12. One of the things that we see in the first reading from the prophet Micah, one of the minor prophets, is that his pleas are those of Amos and Hosea for the people to repent. And he wants them to return to God. And he's not doing this out of some kind of meanness. He does not hide his disgust and outrage at the dishonesty of those in power with their plans of iniquity against their own neighbors. So he prophesies against them because our God will not let them, succeed in their plans. Their plans will come to ruin. He'll take everything away from them. And in the end, they'll be mocked in contrast to God's will against the arrogant. And the responsorial psalm is so beautiful because it begs God not to forget the poor and his desire for justice. And the reading from the Gospel of Matthew has some profound truths that are very easy to gloss over. The passage begins in the Gospel of Matthew with the Pharisees who are enraged that Jesus healed a man on the Sabbath, and they're so outraged that they plan to kill him. And instead of Jesus confronting them directly, he moves away, and as he moves away out of the area, a number of people follow him on his journey. And the beautiful thing is that as he's moving along, these people are with him, he continues to heal the sick who are there. And he tells those that are that have been cured and healed not to make them known to anyone. And there's a reason why Matthew does that, is because it's a way of showing how Jesus doesn't want to glorify himself, but for people to see that he is the one that has been sent by God to bring them hope. Now there's two phrases that stand out in the gospel that really caught my attention that I'd like to expand with you. So the two phrases are, he'll bring justice to the Gentiles and justice to victory. And what does that justice mean in the biblical sense? Justice, commonly used in the legal sense, doesn't really capture the biblical sense of justice. The Hebrew word zedek, or the Greek word dika, and the Latin term justitia all express the right conduct of life, that a person's living virtuously before others. And so Matthew inserts the prophecy of Isaiah to link the Father's love to Jesus, his servant, who is kind and merciful, concerned about the poor and the needy. And Isaiah describes the suffering servant of God, the Messiah, as the one to bring them true justice of God, or if you want, God's righteousness, to heal the world through his humility and tenderness and compassion. By his righteousness, he'll be a source of hope, a hope of longing for salvation. So for you and me to follow Jesus, we must strive to live righteously, not to impress others, but to imitate the example of Jesus in all that we do, to offer hope and forgiveness to those who are seeking understanding. Tenderness and ultimately salvation is what we hope that they will see in us. And as I was reflecting on just this little understanding of righteousness and right living and living lives of virtue and such, one of the things that I really want to share with you is that the more righteous a person is, the more attractive they are. We call it holiness, we could call it godliness, all those different types of things. But if we are truly growing in the righteousness of God, in justice, we're living the truth of the gospel, we're trying to allow the gospel to be enfleshed in us, and people will find in us an attractiveness, not a stodginess, not a I'm better than thou or any of that type of thing when we think of being righteous, but rather a welcoming heart, a tenderness that drew people to Jesus. And that's the evangelization that the world needs, to see in honest believers, disciples of Jesus, that attractive spirit of love and forgiveness and mercy and understanding that basically, as Jesus says to us, he loves us, people will see in us that we love them. And ultimately, that is the best and most beautiful way of proclaiming the gospel. So reflect on that. Am I a just person? Am I a righteous person? Do I strive to live the truthfulness of God? Think about it. God bless you.